This episode of the Demonic Compendium contains spoilers for the following games. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome to a snuggly new episode of the Demonic Compendium, the show where I discuss the mythology, design, and game history of your favorite Megami Tensei demons. I actually had a different demon planned for this Halloween season, but with Persona 5 Royal re-releasing today, I thought it'd be fun to switch things up and focus on a spooky demon many of us know thanks to Persona 5. So listen to your parents and don't go out after dark, because today, we're talking about bugs. Bugs, or Bugbear, as it's mostly known outside of Megaten, is a fictional creature with origins dating back to regions in the United Kingdom like Wales and Scotland. The general definition for a bugbear is an imaginary monster made up to create fear or coax small children into behaving. The bug in bugbear stems from the old Middle English word bug, which was another word for goblin, and the bear was literally a bear, so essentially this is a goblin bear. This is why in many fantasy RPGs like Dungeons & Dragons, bugbears are frequently a type of goblin. The bug, or buggy, or however it's pronounced, in Bugbear would eventually go on to inspire other similar creatures that all serve roughly the same purpose as a bugbear, such as a bugaboo, or the more common in modern terminology, boogeyman. Perhaps the earliest use of Bugbear comes from Pierce Penniless, a 1592 pamphlet written by Thomas Nash, where he describes many tales and spirits of demons as mere bugbears to scare boys, essentially establishing from the very start of them being a ridiculous notion of something scary rather than a specific being with any lore or established purpose. Bugs' compendium entry from Persona 5 Royal is not all that interesting, honestly, so instead, Bugs' compendium entry from Soul Hackers 2 refers to them as a type of goblin from Welsh folklore that eats children who don't listen to their parents. They are said to look like humans covered head to toe with hair, and are recognized as an iconic monster that appears at nighttime. They are often spoken of by mothers wishing to discipline their children, as noted in the popular phrase, "For naughty kids who disobey, the bugs will come and surely pray." Design-wise, because of Bugbear's loose interpretations of being a goblin, or being a bear, or being a monster, or being some combination of all of it, Kaneko took an interesting approach and focused on the bear aspect of Bugbear, and I've gotta say, the evil teddy bear thing does a great job of providing a visual indicator that this thing is not just a bear, but something that does kidnap and kill children. Personally speaking, I love this design. I'm a huge fan of the teddy bear thing, and I love that the seams are ripped open and we have skulls coming out in place of cotton. There's really not a lot I can say about how this design ties to the mythology, but I do think it works super well as a monster design, and it works as a memorable demon in the franchise that does do what it's supposed to do. Bugs is mainly known for its evil teddy bear design, but it did have a much more goblin-esque look back in the original Megami Tensei 2. As far as game history goes, Bugs is interesting because it first appeared in Devil Summoner Soul Hackers as one of the potential demon partners of Erika Sako. After this relatively small role, Bugs was absent from the franchise for nearly 20 years. It wasn't until Persona 5 in 2016 that the evil bear made its return, and did so in a pretty big way. For starters, Bugs appears in the Mementos mission, The Lovesick Cyberstalking Girl, and is the form taken by Yumiko Mogami with the title Killer Teddy Bear. After defeating her and clearing this request, players unlock Bugs for fusion thanks to the key item Sticky Hairball. Bugs would go on to reprise this role in the Persona 5 anime. Sending Bugs to the electric chair transforms it into a unique weapon for Makoto known as the Bear Gloves, and doing so during an alarm creates the slightly stronger Big Bear Gloves. Though I think that might have been a localization change, and I think they actually are Bugbear Gloves in Japanese, which probably would have been better. You also need to fuse a Bugs with Samari Karm to reach rank 9 of the Strength Arcana with Caroline and Justine. And when you choose to fight the ankle-biter attendants in New Game Plus, Bugs is one of the personas Justine uses in battle. Honestly, despite all the personas that they use, I will confess Bugs is probably the one I most associate with them. And lastly, Bugs appears as a new enemy in Persona 5 Royal, popping up in the Laboratory of Sorrow during the game's third semester. Persona 5 was definitely good to Bugs, and that love continued onward in Persona 5 Strikers, where Bugs appears in the game's first jail as a dire shadow with the evil teddy bear moniker. Players may need to fight this big shadow later on their first playthrough, but it's not much of an issue on New Game Plus. Aside from the Persona 5 games, Bugs has come back in other recent titles like Shin Megami Tensei 5, where Bugs admittedly doesn't do much of anything. However, in Soul Hackers 2, Bugs does have a small role as a mini-boss in the Central Line dungeon, and a pair of them must be fought after getting the Dirty Key. While not directly being Bugs, monstrous teddy bears have stood out in other Megaten titles, such as appearing as a boss fight during the bad ending in Persona 1, appearing as an FOE in Persona Q2 New Cinema Labyrinth, which Bugs is also there as a member of the Death Arcana instead of the usual Fool, and arguably even something like Teddy in Persona 4. Over the past few years, Bugs has made something of a comeback in the franchise, and I honestly do think that this episode is going to become outdated sooner rather than later. But there really is no denying this creepy bear was a surprisingly solid figure in Persona 5, and I knew I wanted to talk about it to finally celebrate that game coming to other consoles. And so there you have it, Bugs, the squeezably soft skull-stuffed stealer of spoiled schoolchildren. Did I leave out something you thought was important? Was I just plain wrong about something? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to let me know who you'd like to see me talk about in future episodes. That's going to do it for this episode of the Demonic Compendium, and I will see you next time. But be careful while you rest that a demon doesn't take over your body.